Hello everyone. In this video we are going to write the another plugin, and this time we will write the plugin for the associate and disassociate message. And since we already have covered the plugin for the create, delete and update message, so I'm going to cover up the associate and disassociate message inside in this video. So before we proceed, what is the associate and dissociate message and when we should use? So when you have a relationship between the two entities, then you will append the record of one entity to the another entity, and this link, the link between these two entities will be created, and this is called the association when you add that. And when we have relationship, then this association and this dissociation will come into the picture. So this messages associate and disassociate is very effective, and it is recommended when you have end-to-end relationship. If you go to your solution, you will see we have the different three types of relationship. So associate and dissociate message is effective, it is recommended when you have the end-to-end relationship. So here in my scenario, I have the end-to-end relationship between the student entity and the class entity. I can show you that. When I click here, you can see this is the relationship between these two entity, and you can see I will have the lookup of both the entity. I have the lookup of the student and the class. So meaning is that when you're creating the relationship between these two entity, any two entity, then one other entity will be created, and that is called the intersect entity. And you cannot see through the UI, you cannot see the record through the UI, because it is just in the background. But when you have access to the SQL server, like if you are running the CRM on the on-premise, then you have access to the SQL server. Then there you can query, you can write the SQL query to fetch the record of the intersect entity. And when any association will happen of the record between this end-to-end relationship, then the record of that intersect entity will be created, and inside that intersect entity I will have the lookup of the student, I mean the entity 1 and entity 2, both lookup I will have, and this is how it will associate there. So we will write the plugin here. So let me show you the scenario which I'm going to cover up here today. So I have the entity as mentioned, the student entity. So inside that I have the one field called the course applied for, and I will take the value of one of the course here. So I have taken the tab also here, class, and inside that I have taken the subgrid. Inside the subgrid I am displaying the classes which I'll add here. You can add the multiple classes here, but I'm assuming that one by one we'll add the one classes here. So when you add the class, you can see these are the available classes. I already have configured the some of the classes, and these are the courses, and with these courses I have the classes configured, class A and class B. So what scenario I'll do is, when you are associating the class here, I will validate whether the course the candidate has applied for it is matching with the class or not. So you can see on the class I have the lookup of the course here, and inside this course I will validate if the candidate has applied for the computer science, then I will add the class only for the computer science. I cannot add the electronics communication or the other courses classes. Also, as soon as I'll add the class here, then I will take the fee detail from this. You can see for the each course I have configured the basic price here, basic fee here for the course, and this basic fee I will be populating to the fee details here. And if I have any university fee, or the subsidy, means if you have subsidy deduction, you can add here. If you have tax, then you can mention. Then adding these all those four, and then we'll populate the total fee. So subsidy means we'll subtract the remaining university basic fee, and tax will add, we'll subtract the subsidy, and that will be our total fee. We'll display here as soon as you will add the record here. When you remove that, then we'll set the basic fee to 0, and whatever the price of this course was, I will remove from the total and display here. So this is the scenario, and we'll achieve that. So before we proceed there, let me tell you what will happen inside the plugin when you associate. So when you associate the record to, suppose here inside the student, I'm going to add the record of the class here. Then this entity, a student entity, is considered as a target entity reference, and this entity which I'm going to add here, that is called the related entities. Okay, and when you add the multiple classes here, then this is called the related entities, and inside the plugin the will have the field called related entities, and these are nothing but the related entity reference collections. You can see these are the number of entities, means at a time you can add the multiple classes here, right? This is what the end-to-end relationship is, and you can remove the, you can select the multiple and you can remove that. So this is so when you remove or add, then those records which you are adding, those will be present inside the entity reference collection. And I'm assuming here we'll add the record one by one. So this is my scenario. I'll add the record one by one. If you're adding the multiple here, then whatever the first record I have taken here, that will be added inside the collection, because my assumption is that I will add the record one by one. Okay, and this will be added. So this is how it will work. So let's go to develop the plugin, and you will see more in details when we write the plugin. So already I have opened the solution, and already I have taken the class name as a student associate plugin name, and already I have taken the namespace, and we'll proceed the logic now. So already I have added, you can see this class, uh, this associate, and this associate class already I have taken. This is my plugin name. Already also the plugin interface is implemented. So we'll proceed our logic now. So first of all, we'll take the context. So I plugin execution context, name it as context, that is equals to the, and that is service provider dot get service. I plugin execution context, and we will take the other services also. So eye tracing service, okay, and then I want to create the service. So before that I will create the I organization service factory, name it as service factory, that is equals to the service provider. So let me cast it, get service, then type of the I organization service factory, and we have to cast it. So let me cast over here I organization service factory, and using the service factory we'll create the organization service. So I organization service, that is, name it as service, that equals to service factory dot create organization service, and it is under the context of the user, logged in user. Okay, we created. Now we'll see the parameters which we need. So first of all, when you add the associate, the record over here, so this is nothing but my target entity, and the record which I'm going to add here, those are related entities. So I need the two variable here. Also when inside the logic, while updating the course, I have to find this value, then again I have to find the field details of this one. So I have to query through that. So let me take those variables over here. So first of all, I'll take the uh, entity that is called reference, and that will be my target entity. I'll make it as null as of now. Then the entity reference, I'll take it as a related entity, that will be null. Okay, and then the relationship name, so means when you associate these two record, then you will inside the context of the plugin, you will also get the relationship, means of which relationship type you are going to associate. So this relationship name I will get here, this relationship name. So let me take the variable for that also, so that I can compare later on in the plugin. So that is a string relationship name, that is equals to a string dot empty. Okay, and also I need other entity, as I mentioned. So I need to query, I have to retrieve the stuff from the service to get those. So I'll use the student entity. I'll query this one. So student entity, that is equals to the null, then the entity, the class entity, that is equals to the null, then the entity, and that is called the course entity, because from the course entity I can get the base price which is configured inside that. That is why I will take this entity. So we got this one. So now let's take this first. So if the context dot input parameters dot contains the target, I means and the context dot input parameters of target target is the entity reference. This time it will not be the entity, because this is not the simple like create or update operation. It is the association, so we will not have that. We will not give the value for the primary entity and second entity. We will select as none there. We will not have any specific entity specified there. So that is why when you associate, then the record of the related entities will be present as a entity reference. So we'll check inside the input parameter if the target has the entity as a entity, means target has a entity reference. If it has, now let's take the target entity. So target entity equals to the context dot input parameters as from the target as the entity reference. Okay, we got that. So we set one value here, entity target entity. Now let's check if the relationship, if the context dot the input parameters dot contains the relationship. If it has the relationship, then means relationship means it will give the value of this relationship name, this name. So I will compare that one. So let me take that value from this input parameter. So the how we'll get is, so we have the relationship name already that variable we have taken. So relationship name here, that is equals to the context dot input parameters of the relationship. And since this is the relationship, we have to cast it here to the relationship type. So relationship here you will get, and to get the schema name of that dot, we have the schema name. So this will give the this name. Now when you are associating this to record, then I will get this schema, this relationship name. Okay, and this is there. So let me copy this name so that I can compare later on. So this is the entity relationship name. We'll copy that and we'll check here inside the plugin. So if the relationship name is not equals to this particular relationship name, then we will return from this plugin. Okay, so yeah, one thing is done. Now let's take the related entity. So how we'll get the related entity? So as I mentioned, when you add the record to this student, then the added record, these are present inside the related entities, and these are nothing but the entity reference collection. So from this collection I will be taking the first record, and then I'll set that as a related entities. Okay, so we'll do that. So if the context dot input parameters dot contains the related entities, and the context dot input parameters of related entities is the entity reference collection, then from this we'll set that. So let's take the entity reference collection here. We'll name it as a related entity collection. That is equals to, from this context we'll fetch that context dot input parameters of the related entities as entity reference collection. Okay, and from this we have the related entity. So related entity, that is equals to the related entity collection. From that we'll take the first record. So we'll set that. Okay, now we need to query through the other records, because we need to set the student entity. So student entity equals to the, we have service which already we have set, and since already I'm going to query this student entity. This is already present inside the target entity which we have got. Inside that I have the ID, so no need to build the query expression, I believe. Simple retrieve will be working for that, so we'll use that. So service dot retrieve, and we'll give the schema name. So we have the target entity dot logical name, and then the target entity dot ID, and then the new column set, and we want the different value. So I want the value of the columns called this course applied for, and also the fee details, the base fee, university fee, subsidy, tax, and total fee. Schema name I need. So what I have done is already I have copied that schema name here. You can see this schema name you can compare with this entity here over here. You will go to the entity, and these are the fields, and inside the field you can see this is the base fee. Then I have below subsidy, then tax, then on the total fee and the university fee. These 5 fields, along with that I need the course applied for this field. So this 6 field I know, so I already have copied these fields over here. So I'll copy this and let me put into the plugin here. Okay, so we need this column, these columns. So now next is I have to query the related entities, the record which I'm going to add here, so that I inside the, when I'll query, then I will get the ID of this course. What is that? Then I can compare later on, right? If these two record, this ID and this ID I can compare. So that is why I have to query again to the class entity here. So let me take that also. So here the class entity, that is equals to the service dot retrieve, and then we have the and that is nothing but related entities for me, right? So related entity dot logical name, and then the related entity dot id, and then the new column set, and inside that I have the schema name of this field as the course id. You can see here, if you go to the class here and then to the field, I have the name as course id. This is the lookup of the course entity, isn't it? So I need this schema name there. So copy this. Okay, so this is done. Now let's take the another entity that is called the course, because when you have the course id, this id which we have got, now with this course id we will query through the, let me close this, we'll query through the this courses, means these are the courses, right? We'll query through these courses and we'll find with that particular course id what is the value of this basic fee. So this again I need to simple retrieve. So we'll go here, and that is the course entity, that is equal to service dot retrieve, and the schema name of this one is dnlb underscore the course, and the GUID will be the, since we get inside the class entity, so let me take up that. So class entity dot get attribute, and when you have any lookup field, then you can get the value for the lookup field as a entity reference, and this will be of the schema name of the field, and which is nothing but the course id here. And from this we can dot the id we can get. So this will give me the course id, so where I'm which the field I'm going to, the record which I'm going to look up, and then the new column set, and inside this I need the column on the field, on the value of this column. So let me take the schema name of that. So inside the course field, and this is basic fee, sorry, this is the basic fee. We'll copy this. Okay, so we got all the fields now. So now we have set up all the variables which we need here. Okay, now let's proceed our logic. So first of all we'll check if the plugin is registered for the associate. Okay, so if the context dot message name to lower, if it is equals to associate, then the plugin register for associated. If the else if the context dot message name to lowercase, if it is equals to this associate, then we'll write the logic for this associate. Okay, so here inside this block we will write that first of all we'll compare the GUID, right? We'll compare the GUID of the here course applied for and the classes we are going to add for. So here inside that we'll take, if the we have the student entity which we have got dot the get attribute value, and that is nothing but the course applied for, means this is the schema name of that. So we'll take that, that is nothing but entity reference. So entity reference, then the schema name will give, so this is the schema name. If dot id, if it is not equals to, say if it is not equals to, then we'll throw the exception. If not equals to the GUID from the class entity, so we have the class entity dot the get attribute value, and that is entity reference. Okay, and inside that we'll have the schema name for that. So schema name of this one is nothing but course ID here, right? So we'll take that, and that is ID. If those two IDs are not matching, means we are adding the wrong class. In this case, we'll throw the exception. So throw new exception, throw new exceptions, and that is the student is not applied for this course or the class. Okay, and we'll set up that, and then we have the if it is fine, if it is we are adding the correct class, then we'll check the fee details. So already we have got inside this entity field details. So let me take up the value from this. You will see the field type. What I have taken here is, you can see the fee details. All the fee values field values are nothing but the currency type. So it's not a simple text type or the this or the numeric type, but it is the currency type. So inside the plugin we'll have the object for that is called the money as a class for that. So we'll use that one. So what we'll do here, let me take the decimal here. Decimal equals the first of all we need the here we have the subsidy. So we'll take the subsidy value. Let me copy this schema name, and here we have the subsidy, that is equals to the student entity dot get attribute, and here we have the money class, and this will give you the currency, and here I need to pass the schema name of that field, the subsidy. And when you take that, we'll convert that as a money object, then we'll have inside that called value. This property will give me the particular value append to this field. So I'll get the value for this as a decimal value. Okay, now we will take the decimal for the another field, which is the tax. Then it is tax, that is equals to the student entity dot get attribute value, that is called the money, then the schema name of that is tax, and then dot value. And next is the decimal, and then it is university fee, university, that is equals to the schema name of that university over here, that's equals to student dot get attribute here, the money, and then dot value. So we got those value, but thing is when you have values selected over here, means when you give this some value here, then it will work fine. But in case suppose when you are not aware that you have to fill the 0 values before this, then you have to add you have to check the null condition over here. So let me check that one. So if this value here, let me copy this line from here to here. So if this is equals to null, then I will take the new money type of the 0 value. I will append with the 0. If not, then I'll take the particular value which is selected over there. So this is the ternary operator I'm using here. So if it is subsidy equals to the student money type, if it is equals to null, then we'll take the new money type. If then we'll take the particular value which is selected over here. So dot value, this should be null here. So the student entity get attribute, if it is equals to null, then the new money. So since we have not taken money over here, so it should be money type. So I'm sorry. So it should be money type, and it should be money type over here. Let me take up like this. So later on what we'll do, we'll from the money, this will be the object. From this object we'll take the value later on when we use that. Okay, and same thing we'll do for the other value also. So let me take as a money here, and that will be same. So this is the, let me copy this, and if it is equals to null, then new money type of 0 decimal value. If not, then particular the money, whatever the value is selected inside that field, will take up. So this is fine. Okay, so tax equals to here. Okay, and this is for the money and then university, and we'll copy this. Let me copy this. Okay, and then here, if it is equals to null, then new money and then 0. If not, then the particular value will select. Okay, so it is done. We set of the value. Okay, now let's set the value for the student entity. So what we will do, we have to update this entity, right? We have to update this back the student entity. That means that is the target entity. We have to update this back. So we'll create another entity here called the so entity as called the update student. That equals to the new entity, and the schema name will be the target dot logical name. Okay, and then id will be the update student dot id will be equals to the target dot id. Okay, and then the fields for that. So update student, that is equals to, now we'll set the value for these fields. I mean, the first of all uh, the basic fee. So the schema name of the basic fee is here. I can get from this here. Basic fee for the, not for the course, we have for student here field, and inside that we have the basic fee here, right? So we need this schema name. So we have to set the value for this, and that will be equals to the new money. And you can see the money is having the parameter as a decimal. That is what I was taking there as a decimal, but you can if you know the value, then you can take up the as a normal. So what you can do here is, since we the base fee we will get from the course entity. You can see inside the course I have taken the base fee, so let me take that also below here along with those value from this 10. So it is called the base fee, and that is equals to same thing. So we have the course entity and dot get attribute, and that is money type, and that is schema name of that. So let me take copy this schema name, and over here if it is equals to null, then we'll set the new money type as with 0 value. If not, then we'll set the particular value. Copy this and we'll paste here. Okay, so we got the base fee, so we have to set the base fee here. So it will be base fee dot value, and then the update entity update student, and here we'll give the tax whatever the subsidy we have. So we have subsidy, copy C, and then we will set equals to the new money, and that is subsidy dot value, then the update student, then we have the tax, copy, that is equals to the new money, the tax dot value, then we have the update student. Here we'll take the university fee, copy this, that is equals to the new money, the university fee dot the value, and finally the total. So total will be nothing but the sum of the base price, tax, university, and minus subsidy. So update student, and then here we have the total. So here schema name of that is total fee, that is equals to the, we have to sum it. So new money, and that will get the base fee dot value, plus the university fee dot value plus the tax dot value minus subsidy dot value. So this will be the total fee, and finally below will service dot update the update student. So this was the logic for the associate message. Okay, now let's take the for the disassociate. In this case, when we are removing the record from this selected one, then same thing will happen. We'll have the entity collection, whatever the records we have selected here, and that is inside the entity reference collection, and we have the same relationship name, the same target, and the same the related entities. So only thing is I have to update the student entity, and in this case I will be updating the base fee and the total fee. So let's do that. So here, but before that I need the I need the amount of which I means for this course what was the base fee, right? I need that one. So I have to write one query here, select I have to use the course entity here. So course entity will use, so for that we'll set the base fee. So it is money, that is called the base fee, that is equals to the course entity dot get attribute, and that is money type. And then schema name of that one is the, here I can get base fee. If it is equals to null, then the new money, that is with the 0. If not, then the particular value. Okay, so we set that. Okay, now we need to update the student. So let me create the entity. So entity called update student, that is close to the new entity. The schema name will be the target dot logical name, and the id will be update student dot id will be equals to the target dot id, and then update student will not touch the other field, will touch the base fee. So let me copy this name, schema name, and here equals to the new money. Since we'll remove the record, so we'll have the 0 here, and then to update this student total fee, this is inside the total fee over here, that is equals to the what was the total fee we had before, right? So let me take the another money variable here, money, that's called the total fee, that is equals to the, from the student entity we can get dot get attribute, and here money type, the schema name of that, if it will check the same null condition, then new money, sorry, should be money, and with the 0 value. If not, then the particular value, sorry, my mistake, should be the copy and paste. Fine. So from here we'll subtract these two values. So we have the new money, and we'll subtract from the total fee dot value minus the base fee dot value, and finally we'll service dot update, and we'll update the student. So this is done. So now finally the development of the plugin is completed. Let me reveal this. Okay, reveal success. Let me register that. So already I have logged into the plugin assistant tool, and these are the old plugins which we have developed in the last video. So I will be updating this assembly. So let me update, and this is the folder, this is the assembly name here. You can see I have the associate, the plugin added here. So let me add here. Okay, so assembly is registered and updated also. So you can see here, this is the recently we have added. So since for this plugin we have to configure the two messages, right? One is for the associate here, another is for the disassociate, isn't it? So we'll configure the two step for this assembly. So register new step, and we'll take the associate here, And then here, that's what I was saying, we since we don't have any target entity associated here, so we'll not give primary entity and secondary entity as target. So I mean the any and particular entities we'll give as none here for the primary entity also and the secondary entity also. This is how the end-to-end relationship works. And I'll take the register plugin for the pre-operation, and this is synchronous type. Okay, so this is associate step, and another step I'll configure for the disassociate, and here disassociate, and then the primary entity none and the secondary entity none, and the plugin is for the pre-operation. Register that. So it is completed. So now our plugin is ready. So let me check this scenario now if it is working. Let me create the new entity, a new record of the student. I'll take as a test student. Go to here, and the let me take the course as information science engineering, and then you can see I'll save this, and then so you can see the now classes I can add here, and the few details are null. So this is what I did. So like when you had the existing class, then it will check if this field has any value or not. If it don't have value, then it will get the null value. That is why I check those null condition over here before setting the value. If it has the null value, then I will set with the zero. I mean zero price for that. So let me add the class over here. So existing, and since already I have taken for the information science, so I cannot add the CSE over here. So let me try this add. You can see unexpected error. This is something not validable. So associate, fine. Let me debug this. So what I can do is, we have different way of debugging. So in this video you can learn that also, how to do the debugging. So since I'll check the associate message, so first of all you have to make sure in the plugin registration tool you have installed the plugin profiler. So you can see if it is not installed, then you will see the install plugin profiler. So make sure you have installed that. So and which step you want to profile, which step you want to debug. So you can select that one and right click, and then click the start profiling, and you have two different way of debugging the plugin. So when you use the exception, then the exception message which just now I got, you can use this one. So when you use this, then you will have one text generated for that, and you will do that. So let me do this with the plugin profiler first, then I'll show you with that. Okay, so I'm going to use the persist to entity, and then click OK. So you will see the step will be profiled. So this step will be profiled. You can see profiled, fine. And then when you perform the operation, now you will not get error because your step is profiled. So when you perform that, let me take the record as a IC. Since I have taken the information science, so I will add the class of the information science to check that if it is working. So IC, and as soon as I add, then you will not get error because we have profiled this step. And to debug that, make sure you have built this plugin with the debugger. So let me take the debugger over here, debugger point, and let me rebuild this. Okay, and we will attach this to the plugin in plugin registration process. So this process running plugin registration process, so we'll attach to that this code, and then we'll go to the our plugin registration tool, and we have the debug here. When you click the debug, you can see we have the profile here. When you're using the exception method, the first method, then you have to give the profile message here. You have to, if you can store that inside the some text file, and then you can add the text file over here. If not, then if you have profile that, you will see the latest profile step available here. This, since I did for the associate, you can see this is the latest profile step available for me. So I'll select that one, and also the library which assembly we want to test it, we want to debug it, you'll get it, and the message it will come. So as soon as click the start execution, it will hit the debug point over here, and then we can check the values of these plugins. So let me check that. So if it is working fine, so till here it's fine. Okay, then we got the target entity, relationship also we got here. Okay, then the input parameter we are checking, and we got the related entities also. Okay, so now let's check the further. We got all those three entity: a student entity, the class entity, and the course entity. Now let's check the message name. So message name is also fine. We came into this associate method, and here uh, so it is not, since it is checking that the course which your class which we have added is not with the, it is with the same class, same ID. So that is why it didn't go to the exception here. Then it pursued with the further coding, further line of code. So here I have the tax, money, university fee, base fee, everything we got here, and then ID. Then fine. So plugin is executed fine. So let me check that if it is working. So let me stop this profile here, stop profiling. Okay, and I'll go to the I'll go to my, let me check the, refresh this. I can see the fee is updated. You can see the, since the this course I have selected and this same class I was adding, and the base price of this course is nothing but the 13,000, so which is coming here fine. So the associate is working fine, but for the another one it was not working when I was adding the another type of, like let me add the class B here for the IC. So class B, add here. Yeah, it is added successfully, fine. And then let me remove this now if it is working. So let me remove this. Okay, let me get this separate entity for that, for the remove. So here, test student. I'll take for the computer science, save. And let me add the computer science over here. Class A, computer science, add. Okay, added successfully. Let me refresh this. Yeah, feed details are updated and also it is validated. Okay, let me remove this now from the class, select and remove. Removed. Let me refresh this, and the feed details are nothing but all zero. So this associate is working fine. The only problem we had is while adding the class with the different type, then we are getting the error, different course type, then we are getting it. So for this is, let me add the full CEC. We'll check the, you can see the, we have some error. So we'll do this, we'll profile this one, okay, and then we'll check. So we'll go to the plug registration tool. Let me profile this associate, and we'll use this persist. Better let me do the exception ways only. So let me stop this profiling. This I already showed you how to use the persist to entity. I'll show you with the exception one now this time. So profile step, I'll select this one, okay, and now you click OK, and you'll see the this step will be profiled how it was done for the persist to entity. But when you get the exception, then you will see the, you will have the message associated to that. So let me add that now. So here I'm adding the EC and click add. So I was talking about this file, this text. Okay, so this text will be generated. This you can use for the debugging. So let me copy this. Okay, let me copy this here. Okay, and you can put that inside some text file if you want. So let me go to here, and this is already I have taken on here. So let me copy this. I will replace that. So this is one, and we can replace with that. You make sure in the top you will have the pipeline pipe pipe character. You remove that one, and in the top also you will have, so you will not have these two character at the start and the end. Then you save this, save. So I have updated this the code, that the error code here, and then we'll go to the file here, and let me, before that, let me attach this to the plugin registration tool. So let me, it is already attached here, so that's fine. And then we'll go to the plugin, go to the debug, and we this time will not use this one because we have not taken persist to entity. So we have to take the profile area where our area is located. So we can locate that file, text file. This was the text file where we put the text code, and then we will select the assembly where we have the error, and this is the assembly. We'll select that, and you can see it is coming here. Now as soon as you click the start execution, now it will hit the debug point. So this is the another way of testing the you are debugging the plugin. So let me check down. Oh, it was coming because the I didn't use the try and catch. Now I came to in my mind. Since we didn't use the, so it is throwing the exception, but we are not catching anywhere, right? So even yeah, code is correct. So we have to add this entire code inside the try and catch. So let me wrap this thing. So here let me take as exception ex, and we'll throw new invalid plugin execution exception, and we'll display ex.message. Okay, and we'll put the code from here to till end. I believe till here it is. We have one more closing parenthesis, curly braces here, sorry, and we'll paste over here. We'll remove this extra, save, and let me format this using the code format. So as soon as you'll format, you will see all the description of the method and the class will be added here. Okay, and then seems fine, we added inside the try catch. Let me rebuild this one more time, rebuild, and let me stop this profile here, close. So should be stopped. Okay, profile is stopped. Let me update this assembly back here. Okay, updated. Now I think it should be working fine. So I can what I can do for the associate, this is for the CSE, I'm going to add triple E here. Now you will see the error, the stint is not applied for this course or class. So this is what I was expecting. So guys, this is how you can write the plugin for the associate and dissociate, and you learn how to debug the plugin also. So you let me know if you like my video, and thank you for watching this video, guys.